Good morning. I'm at a rest area on I-95 in Virginia, about a half hour south of Washington, D.C. If you saw the end of my previous video when I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania last week, I had said that I was going to Nebraska and Florida this week, and that was the plan, but it's not anymore because of weather in the New England region. Greater Boston and the whole New England region's getting like 1.5 feet of snow today. So the original plan, I was going to fly today from Boston to Omaha on American Airlines connecting Philadelphia. And then I was going to spend 3 days in Nebraska, fly on Frontier from Omaha to Orlando, get a car in Orlando, and go wherever I felt like in Florida, like Miami or Tampa, wherever, maybe the Keys, and have 4 days in Florida. But that was all thrown for a loop because the airport's closed. Boston Logan is shut right down because of the weather. Snowing like a bastard up there from what I've been, text messages I've been getting from folks back home. So, before I knew what was going to happen with that flight that I was supposed to have today, I made alternate plans in case I couldn't fly out, which I was going to get a rental car right at home in Nashua, New Hampshire. Get a one-way rental car from Nashua to Florida and just drive it. And that was the backup plan in case I couldn't fly. And it was an amazing price, too. Like, it was like the lowest rental car price I've ever had. So it was like I didn't even care about losing the money for the flight. So I called the airline after having that backup option already in place to see what they could do for me. And American Airlines was like, yeah, whatever you want to do, we can change it for you. Because the flight hadn't been canceled yet for Sunday. I knew it was going to be, but it hadn't officially happened. And you can't, like, do too much until it's officially canceled. But the guy was really laid back. He's like, yeah, we can change it for you. You want to go? You know, you can go a day early, you can go a day late, you can go 2 days late. So I was like, all right, just put me out Saturday instead of Sunday. And the itinerary that he had available on Saturday, like, he had 3 of them, but the only one where the times worked for me with, like, getting rides to the airport and stuff was Boston to Charlotte, Charlotte to Omaha, 3-hour layover in Charlotte, and no aisle seats on either flight. I love aisle seats. And I just really wasn't looking forward to that itinerary. It would have worked, but I was like, yeah. And the bigger reason than that, I was already really looking forward to the car rental. Because I was looking forward to a long drive. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to just get the one-way car rental, and if I lose the money on the flight, oh well. So that's what I ended up doing. I just bagged Omaha. I'll probably try to go to Nebraska this year sometime. I'm pretty certain I'll get to do that. Because I did want to go see some things and experience Nebraska, but it just, that dang old winter weather just threw me for a loop this weekend. So I picked up the rental car downtown Nashua yesterday morning, Saturday. And I drove straight through from Nashua to Washington, D.C. I didn't vlog anything. It would have been boring anyway, just me driving on the highway. And I stayed with my aunt and uncle who live in Washington, D.C. and just texted them like not even 24 hours in advance. Hey, you gonna be around? Can I swing by for the night? So I stayed in their guest bedroom last night. We went out and had a nice dinner. They treated me really well. They're very nice people. So, I mean, literally, I've literally just put a tank of gas in this car so far and spent no other money besides to rent it. And so thank you, Aunt Cheryl and Uncle Bill. If you happen to see this, the hospitality was great. So continuing on with the story. So what happened was, I stayed with them in D.C. in their apartment. They live in Northwest Washington, about a 15-minute walk from the National Mall. Didn't really see too much of anything in Washington. Just parked the car right in the garage underneath their building. And I mean, we went out to dinner So I did walk a few blocks in DC, just get the flavor for the city while I was there. But I've been to Washington DC literally 10 different times, so I didn't really feel like I was missing out because it's like been there, done that. I do like DC though. Anyhow, so I'll stop rambling and try to move up to the current. So now I'm in the rental car again. I'm in Virginia. The plan today is to make it to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to try to hit up a concert tonight in Charlotte, which I'll tell you more about if I make it in time. So I got to actually stop yakking and get on the road. But Charlotte tonight, I'll get to eat at Jack in the Box in Charlotte. That's the only place along this entire route from New England to Florida that has it. My favorite restaurant of all time that you've heard about before in these videos. And then I'll probably, tomorrow, I'd like to see Columbia, South Carolina. I've been to South Carolina, but not to Columbia, so I'm going to go and experience that, time allowing, which I probably will. And then I return this car Tuesday morning in Orlando, which I will get more into that later. But for right now, I'm going to get on the road to Charlotte, and I am going to make one video. I'm going to do my usual playlist of the whole trip on a playlist on my channel. But I'm going to make this one video of driving from Nashua to Florida. It's going to be one video, and then when I'm in Florida, I'll do daily vlogs of whatever I'm doing in the Sunshine State. So I will talk to you either in Charlotte or on the way to Charlotte if something else interesting happens. Still driving, nothing exciting's happened. It's just been me driving the whole time. Now I'm in North Carolina at a rest area on I-83, but there's a couple things I forgot to mention. So earlier I was actually able to call American Airlines and talk my way into a refund for the flight to Omaha that I never took. And it was awesome because I didn't think I was going to get one, but I figured, oh, what the heck, I'm going to call and see what happens. And I got a full refund, so that's awesome. And I also did take a very brief video of the room I stayed at in DC last night, so here's that. Made it down to Charlotte, made pretty good time. I drove through downtown Charlotte on the highway and just kept going about another like 10, 15-ish miles south because I'm at the Lynx light rail station on the southern terminus. The Charlotte area has one light rail line. This is the southern end of it, right on the border with South Carolina. This is still Charlotte city proper, still North Carolina, but South Carolina's like, could throw a baseball into it almost. Anyhow, I'm here, going to take the light rail downtown, because parking here at this park and ride garage, parking rides are usually a lot, at least where I'm from. Free parking in this garage, and a $4 and some odd cent round trip ride on the light rail to downtown. Which in Charlotte, they actually call downtown Uptown. So technically, it's, I should be saying Uptown Charlotte is what the Central Business District is called. I won't ramble on anymore. I'll just talk to you from inside the concert, which is, oh, I didn't even tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to another Christian rock concert like I did in Kansas City. This one is called the Winter Jam Tour. The headliner is a group called the Newsboys, and they have a bunch of other people. And the ticket situation was weird. They don't even have tickets. It's $15, but you just pay cash upon entry, and that's it. There's no advanced anything. So I'm about to head downtown. It's at the Spectrum Center, where the NBA team plays here in Charlotte. So I really don't know what to expect. I mean, I know what to expect from the show, but I don't know how crowded it's going to be. I've already seen, you know, the whole area. I'm driving around. It doesn't really seem like it's that crowded. But again, this is Charlotte. It's not Boston or anything. And on this trip so far, even though this is only the second day, I've already broke my personal record for most miles put on a rental car. Previous record, 780 in Texas last year. Currently, the car has 912 miles on it from this trip. I clocked it right at the start. And it's like, I'll make it into Florida tomorrow, and I'm returning the car Tuesday morning. So it's like another, like 6, 8, something like 8 hours maybe of driving to get down there.
Let's
it's the next day. After the concert last night in Charlotte, I just went to Jack in the Box, my favorite fast food place of all time. Got something to eat, then drove about 20 minutes or so south into South Carolina on the highway. Slept right here in the car at the highway rest area in South Carolina. And that's where things are at. Not exactly sure what I'm doing today just yet. A whole lot of driving, of course, but I'm going to try to hit up an event or a museum or something to break it up. Just arrived in Columbia, South Carolina, the state capital, and I was driving around exploring, and look at what I ended up finding. I'm glad I did, but I didn't even know this was here. Here in Columbia, South Carolina is the world's largest fire hydrant. And look at this sign right here, telling dogs not to piss on it. Never know what you're gonna find. Just spent some time seeing Columbia, South Carolina, saw the downtown, drove around the outskirts of it a little bit, saw that giant fire hydrant, which was pretty cool. The state capitol was not open for tours today. That just wasn't open because it's a federal holiday today, MLK Jr. Day. So I kind of expected that it might not be open, and that was the case. But it wasn't a waste of time to stop in Columbia. It was pretty much right on the way from Charlotte to points south. So all in all, a good stop. Not really that sure yet what else I'm doing today, but I will show you whenever I get that figured out. Alright, so finally made it into Florida. I've basically been driving all day for the past 3 days. I mean, that concert in Charlotte last night was a really nice, much-needed break. But other than that, it just feels like I've been on the road the whole time. I'm not complaining. I'm thankful and happy to be traveling. But, man, this drive is making me really appreciate flying. So, I'm in Florida. I'm on the outskirts of Jacksonville. Just crossed over the state line from Georgia. I'm at the highway rest area, Florida Welcome Center. I'm going to go in here in just a minute and stretch my legs. But, man, I am worn out. I'm thinking, I usually stay in the car when I have a rental car, but I'm just ready to get out of this car after 3 days. So, I think I'm going to stay at a hotel tonight. And then I have an Airbnb for tomorrow night, and then I'll get into all that later, but for tonight, I think I'm gonna just get a hotel somewhere on the price line or Hotwire blind bids. How I do it. I think I've talked about how I booked hotels in a different video. But yeah, it's great to be in Florida. It's 51 degrees right now, which is not that warm. It just doesn't feel like I'm in Florida weather-wise, other than all these amazing palm trees I've been seeing. I love palm trees. Reminds me of warm weather. But I just got a phone call from a friend back home in Nashua, New Hampshire, that said that it's -3 degrees right now. So he's like, yeah, I know it's not warm for Florida, but he's like, just take it. It's 51 degrees where you are. It's -3 where I am. So, all right. I will check in a little bit later. Downtown Jacksonville. Got out of the car and took a break for a little while. Really enjoying not being in the car. So Jacksonville has a downtown monorail.
The train is moving.
I had no idea Jackson had any public transit besides buses.
Destination, Central Station.
About the Skyway, it's called the Skyway. When I was reading about it online just now, one of the things I read is an article calling it a punchline 20 years later, because I guess it's been open for 20 years. Low ridership, big waste of money to build it is what they were saying, and I've been on here for almost 3 stops now, and I am the only person. I haven't even seen anybody else on a platform, let alone on the train. guys something other than just me driving or me sitting in the car yapping. I am at yet another highway rest area. This one's about 20 minutes or so south of Jacksonville, Interstate 95. I had a great time exploring downtown Jacksonville. I saw a couple different neighborhoods outside of downtown in the car on the way back to the highway. I got a pretty good sense of downtown Jacksonville, though. Modern, new office towers. It was a little bit bigger of a downtown than I was expecting. A few people out and about, but not really too much going on downtown. Lots and lots and lots of homeless people, which is to be expected in a city with a warmer climate. I didn't feel unsafe. It didn't really feel unsafe at all. It just felt very urban. I've certainly been worse places than Jacksonville, Florida. That elevated train was interesting. I just can't believe they built that. There were so few people on there. Other than me, there was a couple other people that I encountered riding it, and then it seemed like a bunch of homeless people were just hanging out on the platforms. So yeah, a city that size does not need a monorail. Jacksonville's an interesting one, though, because the population is just over 800,000. And that downtown felt like the downtown of a city like a 200,000 or 300,000 population city. But the reason the population is so big in Jacksonville is because I think it's geographically the largest city in terms of square miles in the United States. It's either the biggest or one of the biggest. Google it if you really want to know. And it's just so spread out. It's kind of like Houston in that it goes on for miles and miles and miles in each direction. So it's actually it has a higher population than Miami, but Miami is by far the most urban place in Florida. So that was the third big city I've seen in Florida. I've been to Jacksonville, Miami, and Tampa. Well, Tampa, St. Petersburg. It's all one area. But anyway, the nicest downtown out of those three by far is Tampa. And I'm going to go see Orlando tonight and tomorrow. Or whatever I'm rambling again, but I finally decided what I'm going to do tonight. I'm staying at an Econo Lodge hotel that's about a half hour south of Orlando. I'm returning this rental car in downtown Orlando tomorrow morning, but I was willing to drive the half hour south because I got such a good rate on the room. It was $33, and that includes tax and everything. So I figured I'll drop $33 to have a night not in the car. And I'm going to start daily vlogging for the rest of this trip tomorrow morning. I've rolled this whole vlog into one vlog just because it was the trip down here. Like I said way earlier in this video, I was going to fly, and then I already explained that. So I'll show you the motel room I'm in tonight. Hotel, motel, I'm not sure what technically the Econo Lodge is anyway. I'll show you that and wrap up the vlog from there, and it should be some more interesting vlogs for the rest of this trip. So, made it to the hotel in Kissimmee, Florida, which is a little bit south of Orlando. Feels real good to be in a bed tonight instead of sleeping in the car. Normally I don't mind sleeping in the car all that much, but when I just drove 1,500 miles in 2.5 days, it is real nice to not be in the car tonight. And I can't believe this room was $33, including tax. It's your typical economy hotel room, but man, what a good deal. So, like I said, returning the car in the morning, downtown Orlando, and from there I'll start a new vlog and tell you tomorrow about what I'm doing tomorrow.